This lesson is Extending Multiplication, Chapter 3, Lesson 8. This lesson, you're going to use what you know to multiply whole numbers by decimals. The objective is to multiply and solve problems involving money in greater numbers. For example, $3 times $1.05 is rounded to $3 times $1. Today's lesson vocabulary is decimal and estimate. A decimal is a number that has a digit in the tenths place, hundredths place, and beyond. An estimate is a number close to an exact value. An estimate indicates about how much. So you're rounding to the nearest dollar. $1.82 rounds to $2 because $1.82 is closer to $2 than it is to $1. And you're going to be rounding to the nearest whole number, like in 4 and 82 hundredths, to 5. 4 and 82 hundredths is closer to 5 than it is to 4. So let's practice rounding first. Here are some examples. We have 94 cents. If we round 94 cents, it's going to round to $1. Second example, 61 and 2/10. If we round that to the nearest whole number, we get 61. It's closer to 61 than it is to 62. Number 3, $9.85. If we round that, we get $10. $9.85 is closer to $10 than it is to $9. And our final one, 10 and 8/10. What do you think this is closer to? Is 10 and 8/10 closer to 10, or is it closer to 11? If you said 11, you were correct. 10 and 8/10 is closer to 11. So, let's practice these rounding skills with money and decimals. Okay, so we're going to estimate with money. Here's your sample problem. Lucas has $20 to spend. He wants to buy 3 comic books that cost $5.28 a piece. Does Lucas have enough to buy the comics? Well, we have 3 comic books, and they're each $5.28. So, what would our problem be? We would multiply 3 by $5.28. But in this problem, we're rounding that $5.28 to the nearest dollar. So we're going to change it to 3 times 5. 3 times $5 is what your new problem would be. So 3 times 5 is 15. Since Lucas has $20, he has enough to buy the 3 comics. Do you see how we worked out the problem? Let's try one with estimating decimals. Here's your sample problem. Your parents buy 15 and 7/10 gallons of gas each week for their car. About how many gallons of gas will they buy in 4 weeks? Okay, well, we have 4 weeks of gas that we're looking at here. And each week, they buy 15 and 7/10 gallons. Our problem becomes 4 times 15 and 7/10. we have to round those numbers, leaving 4 the same, but rounding 15 7/10 to the nearest whole number. Our problem becomes 4 by 16. 15 7/10 is closer to 16. So 4 by 16 is 64. Your parents buy 64 gallons of gas in 4 weeks. So now you're going to try a couple practice problems. Here they are. One is rounding money and one is rounding decimals. Number 1. 5 friends are going to see a movie. If one ticket cost $8.50, estimate the total price of all the tickets. Number 2. A watermelon weighs 1 8/10 pounds. About how much do watermelons weigh? Pause the video, work out the problems, and bring your answers with to group. We'll go over them in group and see if you got the right answers. So let's rate yourself. Are you a 3? Can you multiply to solve problems involving money in greater numbers without help? Are you a 2? Can you multiply to solve problems involving money in greater numbers, but you might need some help? Or are you a 1? Are you not able to multiply to solve problems involving money and you still have a lot of questions? Bring those questions with you if you have them to group. Bring your answers to the practice problems. We'll go over them and see how you're doing. Have a good night.